Good morning students, this is the class for 10th standard science subject and physics. Our first lesson is laws of motion. Okay, in last class we have seen the rotating effect of force, then moment of the force, and also the definition of torque and couple. Okay, then also we have to see the applications of torque. Okay, different types of application of torque we saw on that day. Okay, so to continue that lesson, now we are going to see about the principle of moments. Okay, what is that principle of moments? So in the case of a principle of moments, we have to consider the two forces, that is F1 and F2, because the moment of a force we have two cases. One is clockwise direction and anti-clockwise direction. Okay, in last class we have saw. Okay, so the force F1 produces anti-clockwise direction at a distance of d1. Here we have two cases. One is anti-clockwise direction, another one is clockwise direction. So the force acting on the direction of anti-clockwise is taken as F1. Okay, the force that is travels along or processed along anti-clockwise direction is taken as F1, that has a distance of that has to be traveled, so it has some distance. That distance is denoted as d1. Okay, from the point of pivot means center point. Okay, then the force F2, that is in the clockwise direction the force is acting, so that force is called as F2, that is force F2 that produces a clockwise direction, and this has a distance of this has to be traveled some distance. Okay, so it has a distance of d2 from the pivot point, that is center point. Okay students, therefore the principle of moment is given by moment in clockwise direction that is equal to the moment in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so both cases are equal here. Okay, so that we can write the formula as F1 cross d1 is equal to F2 cross d2, because the general formula is moment of the force is equal to F cross d. This is for one case. Okay, in general case, here we have two cases, clockwise direction and anti-clockwise direction, means we have to split the force as 2 and also the distance as 2. Okay, so that we have the F1 and F2, distance as d1 and d2. Okay students, so our next topic is what means Newton's second law. Okay, on that day I have already we have seen the Newton's first law. Okay, so now we are going to learn about the Newton's second law. Okay, so according to the Newton's second law, the force acting on a body, first here we have to consider one body or object. Okay, body means what? Any material or substance or any object. Okay, so first we have to consider a one body that has a force as capital F. Okay, that object or body has a force as capital F, that is directly proportional to the force is directly proportional to the rate of change of linear momentum. Okay, linear momentum is denoted by capital P. Here they are given directly proportional to the rate of change of. Okay, change means already you know in what symbol they are denoting the change. It's denoted by del. Okay, in maths class you have already studied. Okay, so the change is denoted as the symbol of del. So the force is directly proportional to the rate of change of. Rate means here it refers to the time. Okay, for the process some time is required, okay, so that time. Okay, so force is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum, and also the change in momentum takes place, and also the change in momentum. Okay, so del means change. Okay, del means change. So change in what? Change in momentum that takes place in the direction of the force. This means direction of the force means in what direction the force has to be travelled. That direction is also followed by this change in linear momentum. Okay, so here force and change in momentum are travelled in the same direction. Okay students, so this law, which law? This Newton's second law is a help us to measure the amount of force. Okay, this Newton's law is a help us to measure the amount of force. Okay, so that this law can be otherwise called as law of force, because it is used to determine the amount of force, means it's otherwise known as law of force. Okay, then we have to learn the derivation of, how to derive the Newton's second law in derivation. Okay, so first we have to consider the one moving body or one moving object. Okay, so then the moving body that has a mass as a small m. Okay, first we have to consider a one moving body. That moving body has a mass as a small m that travels along a straight line. Okay, that travels along a straight line with an it has to be traveled means it has some speed. Okay, so that initial speed is denoted as a small u. Okay, so first we have to consider one moving body that has a mass small m and that travels along a straight line. Then it has some speed. Okay, that speed is known as initial speed at the time of 0. Okay, initial speed means the time is 0. Okay, so after a time of interval t, okay, after the time interval t, the velocity is changes from u. Okay, so that velocity is v. Okay, the time is 0 means the initial speed is u. Okay, after a time interval t, the velocity becomes changes due to the impact means in Tamil we call it as taakam. Okay, in last class already I said. So impact of external force, due to the impact of external force, the velocity is changes from u to v. Okay, so this v is denoted as the final velocity. Okay, this v is denoted as final velocity or final speed. Okay, velocity and speed are the same quantities. Okay, initial speed is denoted as u and the final velocity or final speed is denoted as v. Okay, so then from the linear momentum phenomena, okay, on that day I told so that linear from the linear momentum phenomena we have the formula as linear momentum is equal to the product of mass and velocity. So p is equal to m into v. Okay, students, using of the linear momentum phenomena, okay, we know that p is equal to m into v because mass and the product of mass and velocity are the linear momentum. Okay, students, so here we have two cases. One is initial momentum and final momentum. Okay, so the initial momentum of the body is given by pi is equal to m into u. Okay, and the final momentum of the body is given by pf is equal to m into v. Okay, so the change in momentum we have to calculate we have to determine the change in momentum means del p is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum. Okay, so del p is equal to final momentum is m into v minus initial momentum is m into u. Okay, so del p is equal to, in both two cases the mass is constant. Okay, the varying constant is and the varying terminal is velocities alone. Okay, not the constant. Okay, not the mass. So mass is constant, that means fixed means in two cases mass is common, both the terms common means we have take it outside. Okay, so m into v minus u. Okay, so change in momentum is equal to m into v minus u. Okay, students, by using the Newton's second law. What is the Newton's second law? The force is directly proportional to the rate of change of linear momentum. Okay, students, so the force is directly proportional to rate of change of linear momentum, or the force is directly proportional to rate means in otherwise we have to denoted as time. Okay, so the force is directly proportional to the change in momentum by time. Okay, students, what is that? The force is directly proportional to rate of change of linear momentum. Okay, so that is given by mv minus mu by t. Okay, so we have to remove the proportionality constant. Okay, this is proportional. Okay, so we have to remove the proportional symbol means we have to remove the proportional symbol and introduce the equivalent symbol means we have to introduce one constant here. Okay, so that constant is known as k, where k is the proportionality constant. Okay, so we have to remove the proportional and give it to the equivalent symbol. Okay, so f is equivalent to k into m into v minus u by t. Okay, so this we have to remove the proportional and introduce the equivalent symbol means we have to put one k here. Okay, that k is known as the proportionality constant. What is that? Proportionality. Okay, proportionality constant. Okay, students, for all cases, for all units, the value value of k is 1. Okay, so we have to put instead of k as 1. So f is equal to k1 means m into v minus u by t. Okay students, then this v minus u by t is nothing but acceleration. Okay, you already studied in your 9th standard class. What is mean by velocity? The change in distance by time. Okay, velocity is nothing but the change in distance or change in displacement by time is known as velocity. Okay, and acceleration is nothing but change in velocity by time. Okay, change in velocity by time. So this is the velocity term and this is the time term. Okay, so change in velocity by time is here acceleration term. Okay students, formula as force is equal to m into a. Okay, this a is equal to v minus u by t because acceleration is nothing but change in velocity by time. Okay, so that we have the formula as f is equal to m into a. Okay, so this is the Newton's second law. Okay, derivation formula. Okay, in terms of definitions means we have to tell the story. Okay, instead of we have to write the formula. Okay, derivation means this formula you have to write. Okay, so what is the derivations of Newton's second law means f is equal to m into a. Okay, where f is the force acting on a body and m is the mass of the moving body and a is the acceleration of the moving body. Okay students, then the force here, the force is required to produce the acceleration of a body. Okay, so to produce a acceleration means okay, we have to produce the acceleration of a body means first what the phenomena we required, that is the force. Okay, so to produce the acceleration of a body means we need a force. Okay students, then second one is so the acceleration is produced along the radius. Okay, the acceleration is produced, so that acceleration is produced along the radius term means that acceleration is known as a centripetal acceleration. What is that? Centripetal. Okay, centripetal acceleration. So this is the acceleration which is produced along the radius. Okay, along the radius means that is known as the centripetal acceleration. Okay students, understand? Next, the force that is produced by these acceleration. So these acceleration will produce some force. Okay, some amount of force is produced by this centripetal acceleration. Okay, so that force is called as centripetal force. What is that? Centripetal force. Okay, so the force which is produced by the centripetal acceleration is known as the centripetal force. Okay students, then units of force. Already we know that what is the SI unit of force? That is Newton. Okay, Newton or kilogram. Newtons are kilogram meter second power minus 2. Why? Because according to the Newton's second law formula, the SI unit for mass is kilogram and the SI unit for acceleration is meter second power minus 2. Okay, so the unit of force where in the case of a SI system is newtons or kilogram into meter second power minus 2. Okay, whereas in the case of a CGS unit, okay, SI unit you already familiar with that. Okay, in the case of a CGS unit means the CGS unit, the unit of force is dyne. Okay, dyne, D-Y-N-E. Okay students, thank you.